in any chance in hell who the hell you guys are. I probably shouldn't have started the live stream with hell. I'm probably going to get demonetized now because they're really weird about throwing any kind of curses in the first like 30 seconds to a minute. So here we go.
All right. Keep the 4-letter words to a minimum. Got it.
Well, once we're in for a few minutes, anyone putting ads in, nobody cares after that point. It's something like within the first minute, or if it's in the title, it's like, yeah, we can't monetize this. It's so finicky now. I started a new, I put a video out the other day. It's probably like 2 months ago now, but I'm like, I should start a new series called Why the Hell Did I Buy This? And I put Why the Hell Did I Buy This as the title, and YouTube kicked me a little message back before I posted it saying, hey, you put hell in their title, so we're not going to allow you to monetize this. Well, now I have to change it to, why the heck did I buy this? or just why did I buy this? But it had a nice ring to it for the series. Yeah. But yeah, like, I mean, I was so like late to the party with the hangouts and everything with what you guys were doing, and it was like I felt honestly so privileged to be invited to the party, so to speak, when you guys started streaming at the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was just all of us were at the time just talking and this and that, and it just, I don't know, where did the idea was it Meryl that originated the idea, or who originated it?
For Art News, I was just looking for, I don't know, content, and you met some great people out of it.
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of those people I spoke to for many years after that, and yeah, it was a good time.
Yes,
it didn't quite do, I think, what we envisioned it to do, but I think it accomplished, at least some of the tasks we were looking for. But yeah, I think we wanted to become like the spot for, what was going on in the art world on YouTube. And what was remember what was it? Some, I don't know if it was real or not, but some guy took a cat with a quadcopter or something.
I remember that.
You remember that?
I sure do.
And I remember I made a video about it, and then I don't know if Meryl, you got a hold of it, and you put the quadcopter going around my head or something.
Yep.
In the video.
I remember that. That was a little traumatic at first, the first time I saw it. Now it's just like G-rated entertainment.
Basically. In the world we live in today, that is now G-rated.
Yeah.
Then there was a long-running joke about a squirrel with a jetpack. Was that you as well that came up with that?
Me. It was the most random thing. Like, whenever kids in my class would be like, can you give me some ideas on what to draw? And I would hate it when they said, draw a squirrel with a jetpack. Just do it.
ChatGPT can do it.
Yep. Wait, are we live?
Yeah, we are live. Yes.
Sorry, dude.
For what?
Talking about squirrels with jetpacks.
Yep. Sorry. Hi, everybody.
What's going on?
So I'm back here with Meryl and I almost called you Thad. Meryl and Tyler, some old school YouTubers who no longer post on their art channels anymore. So
no, my art channel's been dead for a bit.
When we were young whippersnappers, we did a show called YouTube Art News. All the cool kids watched it.
All 14 of us.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too. Is I think if we accomplished anything, I shouldn't include myself in that. I was like so late to the game and anything. I deserve no credit for any of this. But what you guys accomplished, at least, was getting so many artists brave enough to share their work and to post and to make videos. And like, there were people that had no channels, and all of a sudden they had channels and they were posting their art. And the from what I saw, like, there were, like, when I started posting like acrylic stuff, it was me and like 2 or 3 other people making acrylic tutorials. And now, regardless of what type of art it is, there are hundreds of thousands of art channels now.
Hundreds of thousands is accurate.
It is absolutely
there
insane.
weren't that many when we were doing it. There really wasn't. There was maybe 30 or 40 like
really
bigger
top tier.
channels
Yeah.
that had like, and bigger channels, I mean like 30,000 plus subscribers. You know,
Right.
that's not big by any means now.
That's right.
But that's what it was. I mean, if you had 100,000 in the art realm,
It's
you
huge.
were a unicorn. And there were only a few that had it. Only a few. I haven't gotten there. I know Meryl, you were there. I'm trying to remember. I mean, it's I've been out of it for 10 years, but you know, some of these channels I don't remember their names. I remember what the content they made was, but
I remember Cartoon Block. I remember.
oh my,
Cinder.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Bruce,
Mark
something.
Evan Burse.
Mark
Yeah.
Crilly. Yeah, he was a big personality too.
Curly still does stuff, but it's like there's a lot of stuff that like it just kind of really fell off my radar in a lot of ways. I've had the bookmark sitting forever, but somebody made a short fan film of his Brody's Ghost graphic novel series. I have not yet watched it. I've been meaning to get to it. I think it came out like 2 years ago. It's still sitting in my bookmarks. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that later. But yeah, I remember. I was pre-ordering those books as he was releasing them on Amazon. So I have the whole set of 6. And then
I
like a
wanted
year
to
later, he came out
support,
with a
but
box set.
I
And
didn't
I'm
read
like,
it.
damn.
It was too graphic.
There's our first pun of the night.
That's a good dad
gotta
joke.
get
I'll
a
put that one in
Check 'em
my
off.
arsenal there.
I have 16 years of practice now, so.
You know what? I'm doing that.
Yep,
I'm gonna go get a chalkboard for a pun counter.
Huh?
He's getting a chalkboard for a pun count.
Oh Lord. Well,
Where that might go up pretty high.
yeah. Where are we streaming? Are we streaming on Facebook?
When he gets back, he could let us know. I don't think he ever told us where we're streaming. He's just like, we're going live. We're going to talk to people. And be like, I don't know.
Let's go.
Hey, we're here.
Well, while you're
So,
here, hit that like button for my buddy Ben. And for context, you might want to check out, just do a search for YouTube Art News. Because when we were young whippersnappers, you know, we did YouTube Art News.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now because I want to see if it comes up. Was the channel name YouTube Art News?
No, I think it was on
I thought it was.
Kazanji Nem.
Oh, it was on yours?
Yeah.
Pun counter.
Oh yeah, there it is. 12 years ago. Holy. Wow, Meryl, you
It's much older than I thought it
we
was.
were all wow. There's Josh. Wow, we were all a lot younger then. Wow.
I'm trying to find it. I can't even find it in search.
I just typed in YouTube Art News Kazanji and it came. I see the first couple videos.
Move some stuff
yeah, I
around
see.
on my desk here now. Making sure am monitoring comments. That's one thing I always forget about.
Where are we streaming? Are we streaming on Facebook or
We
YouTube?
we
or
are
what?
on my YouTube channel right now.
Oh, nice.
Do have
There we go.
somebody.
You ever
in
do
chat.
StreamYard?
Huh? What?
Have you ever done StreamYard?
StreamYard? I've never even heard of it.
Oh my God, it's the best streaming platform.
You know, go out in the backyard and stream. You know, it's fun.
Stream
Tyler
in your
gets a point
yard.
for that.
Oh, okay. Pun counter.
I'm just gonna purposely make it go up now. You got a chalkboard for everything. You know.
Yeah, positive reinforcement.
This was just a tester piece on wood when I was doing stuff a couple weeks ago, so I happened to have it.
It's meant to be.
Yeah, I also brought up the painting I'm working on to show you guys too. So it's a little I don't wanna say it's different than what I do normally, but the process is so different, and we were talking about process earlier. So. It's my in progress.
Ooh, you got some like mangroves going on in there. That's neat.
Very
Lighting
nice.
is weird in here, but you know, it's very loose brush heavy. Loose brush heavy. Loose brush work, which I don't normally do, but it's been really fun. So
Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's about, you know, trying different processes out and new mediums and just having fun playing and yeah.
yeah, that's one of the things I just love is just find. Anytime I go to the art store, it's always like I try to find something I've never seen before or something I don't know what it is. I'm like, I've never seen that before. I want to try it. Because
I did that a lot.
Forces me to be like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't have a plan for it. But if I can try it and it can inform how I use acrylics better or how I might use oils better or whatever better, then it can just you build that knowledge and it just helps everything. Helps you grow in ways that you don't always realize.
For sure.
Yeah, I used to work at Blick Art Materials, and I definitely used. Yeah, right. we used to call it Dick Blick.
Dick
That's
Blick. Now it's
what
just Blick.
It's called Dick Blick. It's what it's called. The store discount was actually pretty legit. So I got all kinds of new mediums. Like if you bought anything that was their store brand at the time, you got 40% off. That was awesome. Yeah.
Everybody write Dick Blick in the comments.
Dick Blick.
Well, we have one person in chat tonight so far. We have SB Farmer 8.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he's saying this or talking about something else, but it says new art teacher at 60 years old, high school. I find it beneficial for a draw along and submit. Yeah, like this was mostly us catching up tonight. Things have changed a lot in the past 10 to 12 years since we started doing stuff. But yeah, but I did want to. Cause we were talking a little bit about how bigger art channels and stuff earlier. I was curious if you guys if there are any artist channels that you guys watch now. Comparatively, because again, the landscape is so huge, but it's like who are you going after and watching when you go after to watch an art video now, if you do.
There are some days that I struggle to have time to urinate. I caught him mid-drink.
Thank you for saying that. As the second I took a sip of that.
I hate to say this. I do. There's some. They're mostly on TikTok or Instagram nowadays because it's fast. And there's something to be said about, time. I'm not encouraging people to not watch longer videos, but it's just, it's a type of content that I think that, short has gotten popular and for a reason. I mean, if you're learning something, you want it to be longer. You want it to be, you could only demonstrate something that's longer. But, there's some artists that are, pretty cool on Instagram.
Yeah, I don't necessarily look up directly any art channels too much anymore because I'm not really in it too much anymore. But I was talking earlier before we went live, Draw with Jazza, every once in a while will show up on my feed. He'll do a Bob Ross thing, and I'm like, I gotta check this out. So I'll watch something like that. But most of the content I consume nowadays is in the form of podcasts because the work that I do now, I'm in a wood shop a lot, and I wear earbuds just to keep the noise down. So I either listen to music or I'm listening to long form podcasts, and that's what I'm consuming these days. I mean, I kind of reflect what Meryl says. I mean, I'm not in this same position with kids and everything, but I'm almost there. But I don't have the time to watch as much as I would like, but I have plenty of time to listen to stuff. So it's kind of different when you're listening to something versus watching something. I can listen to stuff all day long, but if I need to watch it, I don't really have the time to do that per se. But listening, I can do that for hours and hours and hours because I'm doing sanding and cutting and this and that. So there's a lot of time to listen to stuff, so I do mostly podcasts these days.
Yeah, the couple of artists that I don't watch. So watch is a very vague term, but it's they're videos that I can put on in the car and during my commute to listen to, and whatever that be, talking about process or I've been listening to this guy lately named Adam Duff. He has a channel called Lucid Pixel. It's really, really good. I found him during the Adobe controversy fallout from like 2 or 3 months ago. And he just the way his whole presentation is just, it's like this slow, methodical, soothing spoken word stuff. And if you're watching, he's often painting one of these crazy sci-fi creatures. But like even if you're not watching, it's just this. It's sort of podcasty in that sense, that it is just this very intentional thought process of everything. And I just find it really relaxing.
That's good.
But yeah, like it's funny you bring up Jazza, and I won't talk about it live.
He's got 6.5 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I don't want to hate on him because he's popular and people like him. But I stopped watching his stuff when he stopped doing tutorials, and like now he's just sort of like entertainment with art. Yeah. Like it's just
he's definitely very much following the formula of successful YouTube videos.
Yeah,
yes.
It's the YouTube success story thing of just being like, look at this thing, look at this flashy thing, and then it cuts to him going, look at this flashy thing, and I'm like, it might be nice for teenagers, but
TikTok, you don't have time to say, look at this flashy thing. You have to just say, thing.
Yeah.
Or the trend of turn the canvas around. I did this video I think about a year or two ago, and then I made a short version that I could put on like TikTok or Instagram or something. But it was called "If YouTube Artists Were Honest," and it was this idea of and not that I'm like constantly making fun of. I was guilty of half of them myself, which is what made it so fun. But so much of it is just like it's so formulaic. And I think it's why I struggle to find other art YouTubers that I actually like to watch, because it just feels like it's strictly entertainment, and the educational thing has really gotten lost. And I don't know if you guys have noticed the same thing, but like you said, you're mostly on like TikTok and Instagram for that kind of stuff. But I think it is kind of similar in that sense, is that it's we've lost the education for the sake of strictly entertainment and popularity in that sense.
Yeah, the formula for YouTube that makes a successful video has definitely changed a lot, and it's all in your face, very poppy. Like, yeah, it's very different than it used to be.
I think what's helped me, with both channels, like I did the art channel for more than a decade, and now the metal detecting channel. I think what really helped me is I'm extremely good looking. And it stops people. Just kidding. It stops people from swipe.
Yep.
No, they swipe me. What? Who am I kidding? I just say random beep.
Every once in a while, your videos will show up in my feed. I'm like, oh, what's Meryl up to these days? And I've seen some of your Coney Island videos, and they're fun to. It's a what's the word? Like a relaxing video to watch. Like it's just like a kickback and just see what he's doing.
Yeah, I would say
that's kind of my style of content these days. I like watching stuff like that. Nothing too serious,
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's maybe an age thing too, because like the videos I was making 10 years ago when I was first started to be like doing really dedicated art videos, and what I'm doing now are so, I don't say wildly different, but I've relaxed down so much.
I wrote a musical. I kid you not. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, I did make this stuff up, but it's called The Cat God Spectacular. Now, the plot of this, and this is kind of what put my metal detecting channel on the map. It was during the pandemic. Everybody was just indoors, and this was before TikTok got really popular. 2020. I was trying to fill a box with silver, or the sun would explode, per the cat gods. That's really the plot, and I wrote a musical about that. That's where my creativity has gone.
Is it a Broadway style music, or is it more like Hamilton, given your style that it's more?
It's more Hamilton. We've made metal detecting rap.
metal detecting rap about the
I don't know what you guys are smoking, but I want some.
Here's the thing: when you make
I'll tell you what,
about metal
darling.
detecting, when you make I'm choking here, I'm old. When you make content about metal detecting, it's usually the driest video in the world. Oh my god! And I pepped it up since I've had to become normal. So in 2020, 2021, I had the wackiest metal detecting channel. We did unlocks. Like basically, if you find silver, you've unlocked Haagen-Dazs. If you find gold,
I remember you. Yeah, I remember you talking about this.
If you find gold, you unlock sushi, which is my favorite food. And I was the person. People come up to me at these festivals, like, I found this, and I say to myself that I unlocked food. And I'm the person that's connected metal detecting with food, and to a lesser extent, rap. But that's where the that's where my creativity has gone.
It's MC Metal Detector.
Yes, sir.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm normal. Always been normal.
I think you have to have a few screws loose to do what we all do for a living. I mean, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I really wouldn't.
Well, you work with wood, so I don't think you'd have screws loose.
Okay, right. There's number 3.
There's a lot of screws, and they're all slightly loose.
Goes against the grain if you have screws loose.
Another one right there. Entering into Pun City.
It's good to see you, Mr. Tyler, Mr. Ben. Glad you
Oh,
guys did
yeah.
this.
It's been way too long since we've all gotten together and hung out and had a conversation. Even if it's just about loose screws, just take an hour and not have to worry about anything else going on, and just catch up with good old buddies.
For sure. I would say cheers.
Your mic is.
Drink, but I just have my hand right now, so.
I have this, but it's not have anything in it.
Okay.
But we're creative people, so this will work.
I can imagine something in this, though I have stuff in this one, so.
As long as it's not the paint water, you're fine. I've never actually done that. I've come close, but I've never actually done that.
Paint thinner. Don't huff the paint thinner.
No, drink the water. I mean,
Terpenoid is stronger than 151.
Is it?
Probably.
There's a lot of Google searches for like why Bob Ross died, and one of them is like, did he sniff too much paint thinner?
Conspiracy theories.
Oh, I love conspiracies. They're great. It's quality entertainment.
The dark rabbit hole of YouTube. Hey, Juanita's in live chat.
Remember when I fought him?
You what?
What's that?
Do you remember when I fought Bob Ross?
This Sunday, Sunday, in a gloves off death match.
Right? I'm gonna text it to you. Hold on.
Merrill takes on Ross.
I lost. I lost.
I don't think anyone could take him on and win. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, we got She Spins Juanita hanging with us tonight.
Hi, Juanita. How are you?
It's been a long time. I remember that name.
Yeah, for sure. I think she showed up when I interviewed.
There's a few names I remember. One of them that always sticks out to me, I don't know if he's still around, but Round Brush Steve.
Yeah, like that was one of those clever names that just sticks with you.
I don't know what it is about that name, but it has stuck with me for 10 years.
That and Carol Mazanjian.
Who did we ever find out who was behind that account?
I think we had suspected that it was Round Brush Steve, which I think is why the name is stuck. I think he might have been the one doing it.
Yeah, he was our resident troll.
My fist fight with Bob Ross.
Oh
He
man.
had the reach advantage.
I gotta see if that channel for him still. I don't even know if he had a channel. Probably would be faster to do it on my desktop, but I'm trying to maintain an illusion of semblance or something.
I don't know.
You got to try StreamYard. You could put clips on and all
I
that.
see.
We could
first thing
play.
to show up is
Like I'll do this again. I enjoy this. Whatchamacallit? You could play like clips of old YouTube art news or fun stuff like that.
So
it's free too.
well, I noticed in the window here for the Facebook chat there is a watch together button. So I could, it looks like, probably bring that up. Also, I searched Roundbrush Steve, and the first thing I see is a video that says Gary Oldman's speed painting by Roundbrush Steve. And then a Christopher Walken below that. The channel name is now The Dare Arts. And holy crap, was he good? I had no idea because it was always just the weird guy in chat.
That's what they always start out as, and then you realize, oh my god, they're actually pretty good at what they do.
Yeah. 34.5k subs.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
The most recent upload, though, was 9 years ago, so...
Yeah.
Another one...
I think when I stopped, I was somewhere in the realm of 50 or 60,000. So I've gained 40,000 in 10 years, so I'm doing pretty good.
Just by not doing anything. Thanks for rubbing that in.
Sorry. Didn't mean to. I promise.
And Juanita says, yeah, Daniel was a baby and Gabby with a twinkle in your eye.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was when Gabby was born. That's when I really stopped. Because it's hard work. Parenting is hard work, and it's a lot. It's a worthwhile sacrifice. I have no regrets whatsoever. But it keeps you really, really occupied, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy just being an uncle, where I can say, here, take this thing back now.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I did that long enough, and I'm ready for the real thing now.
We'll see.
So, well, it's happening no matter what, so...
Do you know?
We literally go in tomorrow.
Do
It's
you know
happening
boy
like...
or girl yet? I didn't ask.
What's that?
Do you know boy or girl yet?
He's a little boy.
Congratulations.
So when he's tormenting you and
That's amazing.
stealing all
Thank
the
you.
tools.
What's that?
So when he's tormenting you and stealing all the tools out of your workshop, like, where did that cutting board go? I don't remember. Oh, that's why I don't do
Well,
cutting
you better
boards. He stole them
believe
all.
he's going to be using power tools at 4 years old.
My nephew is 3, I think. And one of the things they got him for his birthday is a little toolkit with a battery plastic drill, and he was going around with everybody going. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for all of it. The good, the bad, the messy, and the clean, or lack of clean, I guess. But
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be really great.
Yeah.
There'll be more than
we're
just dust
excited.
on your hands.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a change.
My oldest is 16 now, so it's
Yeah, I saw a photo of him the other day, and I my mouth dropped because I haven't seen him. I got banned off of Facebook a number of years ago, so I hadn't seen any photos in a long time. And holy, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's plausible that like 10 years from now I get promoted to grandpa. It's plausible.
Yep.
So,
Then you will actually have matched that cartoon character that you made for your channel way back when.
I always was going to become him.
Yeah.
Did he have a name?
Little old man.
Oh, what if it wasn't like Seamus or something weird like that?
No.
No, it was Remus.
Remus.
It's like whenever someone's like, "What was his name?" Ah, it's Remus. Like, why Remus? I don't know. I just
hell of a
like
name.
spells. Uncle Remus. Yeah, it is a hell of a name. That's for sure. It's amazing how time flies. It doesn't feel like it's been 10 years since we've all been hanging out on a regular basis.
It was like every
and it's
Friday
only-
night for a while.
Especially since I haven't aged a bit.
Yeah. I know. You've gotten younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
I really have.
He's just soaking it all in.
I was gonna say,
Just
does Long
keep stroking his
Island have
ego
the
with the
Fountain of Youth
compliments.
somewhere?
I
Must
ain't
be all
drinking
the all the fumes all the car fumes.
Yeah. Oh, but that's over. That's over. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
And that's actually what set me on metal detecting too. I did 20 years of those commutes where I would be in the car for 4 hours per day. And
Good luck,
honestly,
man.
Yeah, no. Like the last thing I felt like doing when I got home was painting. And what I would do was I would get out of the car and I would, instead of being in traffic, I would metal detect. And I hunted out every single park between here in the Bronx where I spent most of my career. And that's when I knew I had to make the change. And I work like 10 minutes away now. And it's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, my commute is up and down the steps.
That's up.
And sometimes my door gets a little stuck and I gotta push a little harder on it.
Oh, you poor thing.
It's tough some days. It's really tough.
That's great, buddy.
Now, was it stuck because there was some wood glue in there, or
I think some WD-40.
WD-40, duct tape? Which are the two universal tools?
I mean, they're both great.
Okay.
So there's a engineering flow chart, and it starts off with, does it work right? And it's either yes or no. So if it's no, you move down to the next one. It's like, does it move? And then you go down. Is it yes or no? And is it supposed to move? And if the answer is no, duct tape. If it's supposed to move and it doesn't, WD-40.
Yeah, I've seen
Simple.
That. Since you're in your workshop, I have a question now. From whatever's around you, what is the weirdest tool that you own?
Dude, I got a lot of weird tools.
After Tyler's done, can I answer that?
I
Sure.
don't know what a weird tool is. What have I got in here that's weird? I just bought something that's
most uncommon.
I just bought it the other day. Actually, I bought it to make these things. I needed something to be able to bend this metal, and so I got this jig that has like these 3 wheels in it, and you run. So this is a straight piece of metal when it starts, and you run it through, and as you crank it, it makes it rounder and rounder and rounder, and eventually it goes onto this. So I mean, that's a pretty weird tool that I have. It's very specific in what it does. So I mean, that's what's on the top of my mind. So that's what I'll go with. There's probably a lot of other weird stuff, dude. I have so many tools and commercial equipment in this workshop. It's stupid. It's stupid.
Nice, Meryl. You wanted to chime in. It seems.
Yeah. The weirdest tool I've ever used is my brain.
You got him on the drink this time.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of weird tools. From table saws to lasers to band saws, planers, you name it, I got it.
That's kind of how I feel with the studio now. Is I've reached a point where I'm like, there's actually not a ton of stuff now that I want to expand into. I have a pretty wide working set of a lot of stuff, so now it's just a matter of what medium does this idea the best fit in.
Yep. The only thing I want to expand into is a bigger workshop, just so I can spread my stuff out a little bit better. But
yeah,
I went from a 10 by 10 when I first started. Like my old house had there was a 10 by 10 little cutout in the back of the garage that I used. But then I kicked my mom out of the garage, and I got the other 20 by 20 part of it. So that was my first workshop. And then this thing is 32 by 40. So this is a much, much bigger space. It's you can't walk around too much in it, though. It's very full.
Elbow to elbow, wood to wood. I've been trying to find a pun for 20 minutes, and my brain does not work in that direction usually.
Usually I'm pretty good with the puns myself, but it just hasn't flowed as well as it has for Merrill over there. He's got a lot more practice under his belt. That's what it is.
I tell you, 24 years now of keeping kids awake in a classroom, you got to be like full of surprises. So I just do what I do.
Pay attention. Whack.
He's got to do. Huh? Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
I had a teacher that if you didn't pay, he could tell you weren't paying attention. He would throw the eraser at you, and it's not like a dry erase eraser. It was a chalkboard eraser after erasing 100 math problems. So you would just get chalk coming right off of you. It's great.
God bless his soul.
In 9th
grade, he's dead now.
Throw a tennis ball at me because he was like the tennis coach, so he had like a bunch in his desk.
So say, why would someone have the need for tennis balls in their desk?
That's why.
That makes sense.
I have like half the classroom. They just, I take the phones away from them, and that's a big fight. But when they don't have their phones, they just.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you cannot swipe me up. No.
Yeah.
Swipe left.
I'm still.
You know what always gets? You were talking about phones, so I say this to a lot of people, and it blew my mind. You probably already know this, Merrill, but you know how if someone asks you like, what's the hand signal for a phone? Like, go ahead and do it. Like if yeah, exactly. So you're gonna do that.
So people now.
You know what kids do now? I don't know if you've seen this, but they do this.
Uh-huh.
If you ask them the same question, they'll do this.
I feel like I'm bridging that a little. This.
Yeah, I know, duck face, but I heard that made me feel old.
The heart thing is apparently different now too. They do some weird like finger.
Yeah, they do like they do something. I don't. It's not this anymore. It's not that. It's like
this is easier.
How it? It's like they do this now. I don't know.
I heard somebody say something about
snappers.
I heard something.
Oh, apparently the Macarena is different now too.
What?
You can't change the Macarena. You can't cancel the Macarena. That's ridiculous.
We're doing that on the school bus.
Instead of doing this, they're doing like
no. That's like, hey, we're doing the hammer dance, but it's completely different now. It's like, what?
Kids these days. I mean, I'm not that old. I'm 33, and
you're only 33.
Yeah, 33.
I'm only 34.
Oh my God. You know how old I'm about to be?
How old are you turning?
Take a guess.
I've gotten in too much trouble guessing. I don't want to make any attempts there.
I'm about to be 46.
I'm glad I didn't guess.
You guys just had the processing thing over your head, like.
It's the beautiful mind equations of like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
46 is, and you're 46 is still pretty young these days. You're doing all right.
He's a diplomat. Jesus. Thank you.
Of course. Complimenting you. It's all about how old you feel in the mind. If you're young in the mind, you're young in the soul, you're young in the body.
Well, he's rapping, so he's 17, so, you know.
There you go.
Oh, I feel good.
Yeah.
The numbers are getting scary, though. I'm not going to lie, but I do feel good.
Yeah. Someone asks me my age, I have to think about it. And I'm like, am I 33? Do I turn 34? It's getting harder to remember.
I don't know if Juanita is saying she's 50 or if she was guessing you were 50.
Who was guessing?
Juanita put in chat 50. I don't know if she was guessing you were 50 or if that's how old she is.
Getting close.
I think she's a grandmother.
Close.
I think she's older than 50.
I was thinking around there because the age of your kids, but you never know.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to guess.
Yep.
Yeah, you say the wrong number and be like, "What? Get out of here!"
Oh,
Yeah, guys don't really care, but the other half say the wrong age.
teachers age like fine wine, just generally. So yeah.
Is that how it is?
Like terrible.
Well,
wine. Come on.
Meryl's fine wine. You're a carpenter, and I must be Jesus. So,
There you go.
God
Let's
complex.
get some holy water, and we're at it. Doesn't take much.
You could still paint, I think.
You think?
When's the last time you actually broke down? Have you done a painting since?
I really liked the process with the markers and the colored pencils. That kind of took me over. I would incorporate paint in it. I was carrying a sketchbook with me up until about 2 years ago. And just over the last 2 years, it's just been so busy. Somehow I became a spokesman for a company. And these guys, XP Metal Detectors, if you go to their channel, you're going to see this mug. Metal Detecting NYC is still smaller than Kazanji and M or You Draw, whatever you want to call my channel. But it's a different age of YouTube. It's a different era. There's a lot more opportunity in it. It's a lot tougher to grow. I think with metal detecting, it's a tiny community anyway.
I was gonna say art is already niche, and you went from something niche to nicher.
Oh yeah, I went from niche to nicher, exactly.
Is it a technical term?
Yeah,
it is. Yes, I found it in Webster's dictionary.
Merriam-Webster's.
Maryland, because it says them.
Merrill Webster's.
Merrill. Yep. Merrill.
Oh man. So I honestly can't remember now. Mer, did you answer you wanted to chime in with the weirdest tool? I can't. Oh, your brain,
It's
right?
Brain.
Already forgot.
My brain.
Yes. I was not.
This is your brain on metal detecting.
Beep 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 beep. Yep.
Oh man.
Listen, man.
It's funny how
did chess for a long time. Then he went back and did a little bit more painting. But sometimes you just got to play chess or make holes in the ground. In my case,
dig some holes. I think there's a movie about that.
it's the most peaceful thing. And
you need a metal detector now.
Process is really the only thing that you could fall in love with. And at one point, I loved I loved drawing and painting. I did. I
would say the same.
Yeah, but you change. People change over time, and different process comes along, and made me feel good. And it's just that simple. I love art. I always will. I went to art museums. Whenever I'm in a new city, I did miss Pittsburgh, but
ours is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know they're really good, but I still care tremendously about it. And there might come a time that I get back into it. I can't predict tomorrow. Do
you still have all the supplies?
I sure do.
You don't just throw that stuff away.
Nah.
I got all mine. It's all boxed up and it's in a crawl space right now. I have all my canvases, all my paints, my pencils, everything. My oil pastel, all of it.
Yep.
I ain't getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be careful. Sometimes your kids might steal it.
Yeah,
I stole a decent amount of my mom's
He's definitely
stuff.
welcome to it, but in when the time is right, because you're not going to hand a 2-year-old an oil pastel that costs $7.
Fair.
Yeah, give them the crayon that costs 20 cents for now.
Yeah, I think it was about 2 years ago, or maybe 3. It's probably older than that. But I had finally actually tried like a really decent oil pastel, and I'm like, oh, this is what these are supposed to be like.
Yeah, what's the brand? Sennelier?
Yeah, that's what I got.
They're really good.
It's so
Those are what I used.
smooth and creamy, and it's like, whoa.
Yes, creamy is the right word. Yeah, they're fun. They're a lot of fun to use.
I think oil pastels
You've never
are
tried crepe
least-
pause. No, I'm just kidding.
the least used thing in my
Crepes.
Crepe pause.
studio.
The
I'd
only
always had
art
the
supply
Pentel
that
ones, and
starts
they're
with cray.
Crayons.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Crayola don't count.
oil pastels are the least used
Darn
thing
it.
in my studio.
You're right.
Oops.
Oops.
Got him.
Was that one I missed?
Yeah. Give him a point there for sure.
Okay, we'll give him a point. We're up to 5 on the pun counter for the evening.
No, but it's a true pun, and it's got me thinking. I'm like, wow, cray is a prefix for artists and art supplies.
Yeah.
You need like
There's a
cray
whole umbrella for
detectors.
Crayola.
But cray detectors sound like a device for detecting crayfish, so that doesn't make as much sense.
There are crayfish too. What else is there that it's a cray? Oh, crane.
I was just trying to. I asked myself the same question. I can't think of any crayons and crayons, Crayola and
Crepe?
Crepes.
Grasping at straws now.
where do you store your art supplies? Crates.
Crepes.
That's deep.
Crepes.
That's deep.
Crates.
Mhm.
So Juanita's been blowing up chat. Let me lean to the side here and see what's.
Yeah, go for it.
So they were talking before about said all the salt air where he metal detects keeps him young.
Preserves me.
It's like
Yeah.
like pickling something. You just salt cured.
That's the first time I've ever heard of someone describing the ocean as a pickling. I mean, technically, it's salt water.
He's been brined.
Yeah. I mean, there are those who absolutely just will say that swimming in the ocean every day is a miracle for health. Whether it is or not, I don't know. But
I think it's a
there are
miracle
so
to
many
have
people who
sand
say
in salt places where you shouldn't.
yeah, I don't know.
I haven't been
But-
to either of the I say either of the coasts. I haven't been on the Pacific coast, but I haven't been to the coast or the Gulf in like a decade. So wait, no, hold on. 15 years. No. 20 years? Oh, okay. Never mind.
Well,
No, we're not going there.
it's
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've been in the ocean. Yeah, and I'm 30 minutes from the ocean, but this summer the water has just been so cold when I was able to get there. Right now the water's probably really warm, but I just don't have the time.
Swimming in the ocean is the most overrated thing in the world. Metal detecting the ocean is the most underrated thing in the world. For me.
Everybody says that about their hobbies, so to speak. Hobbies, jobs. I'd say it's such a mixed. Well, it's like with art. It's where do you draw the line between the hobby and the job? Is it the paycheck or is it the passion?
They get mixed up very easily at times, and it's sometimes you have to take a step back and realize what it is that you're doing. Because if you're, and I think that's why I ultimately stepped away from the whole YouTube thing, because I was definitely chasing the dollars for a minute there, and it burnt me out. It really did. And that's what kind of, when you blur that line to an extent, you can, I'm not going to say I ruins the art process for myself, but I've definitely changed. I wanted to do something different. I feel like I did everything I could do with it, and And I'm like, all right, what's the next chapter? Well, what's behind me has been the next chapter for the last. This has been in the works for 10 years, and I don't see myself stopping it anytime soon. I mean, but I've always said that about YouTube, so I guess you just never know when the chapter's gonna end, another chapter's gonna begin.
I think it's almost like dating, though. Like there's if you're in your teens, you're trying different things and you're dating different people, and when you get into your 20s, I suppose you start thinking, you know, maybe it's other people are getting married and stuff, and maybe you meet somebody great and you stick with it, and you know, 30s. I've been told from friends, 30s dating scene is a mess. 40s, 50s, and so forth. But by a certain age, you kind of get the process, like it becomes a big part of you, and you have less freedom to you have less wiggle room, and I could see that. If I was to go back to school right now, um, if 65 is retirement, I'm 46 right now, or no, I'm 45 right now. I'm going to be 46 like very soon, and it's like 2-3 years of school that'll bring me, very close to 50 for what, 15 years? That doesn't financially make sense. So,
Yeah. I think I'd mentioned, I can't remember if we were live or not when I brought it up, but about how it must have. I have terrible memory. Just
my name's
about
Merrill.
changing the pace of my videos a lot. And it was like that's probably coming up on 2 years almost now. Jeez. That I started doing vlogs every other week, roughly. So it takes. I found that it really takes the pressure off trying to pump out something educational when I can just be like, here's what I'm working on, here's what's going on. It's a lot more freeing in that sense. And I don't know if wouldn't necessarily say the quality of the other videos has gone up as a result, but it's given me more time to work on them and to think about them, and to produce stuff that normally like I can't like review a product in 2 days, like give me 2 weeks to test it out and do a lot more with it, kind of stuff.
I can definitely see how that would take a lot of pressure off, and then you can kind of relax a bit. And I definitely agree with your strategy there for sure. Just for preserving your sanity, I would say.
Yeah, and
it gets tedious after a bit.
Coming up on 3 years ago now that I had broken my right wrist, and I had been like on a daily sketch routine, and when that happened, that completely destroyed that. And I carry my sketchbook every day, but I work in it maybe a handful of times every month, if that. Because it's like it completely upended my process in so many ways. And I wanted to, since we were talking about Meryl, you mentioned like you don't know how things are going to end, or maybe that was, I've already forgotten who's saying what. My brain is terrible.
I do what my Rice Krispies tell me to do.
I'm sure you guys heard about what happened with Psychra earlier this year.
No,
I have not.
You have not. He got hacked and lost his channel for like a month and a half.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's
not
a
good.
lot of. I'm glad he's got it back.
Like there were, I guess, enough other sort of big art YouTubers that are also friends with him, made enough of a fuss. And the thing, like, the only way, for whatever reason, the only way you can seem to get in contact with YouTube if your channel gets hacked is to bother them on Twitter, which is so backwards. So like his channel became like this, like, cryptocurrency bro channel for like a month, and he's like, look, this isn't me, I didn't do this. And then, but like YouTube's
Wow.
like, no, it looks totally legit. This is definitely something you did. He's like, no, I didn't. And he was within like a week from just being like, this is the end of my journey on YouTube and it's over.
Yeah.
So, I was messaging him a couple weeks ago, seeing if he could get in on this, but he's been going through it a lot. So he's like, I'm not touching art right now. I'm just, he's just doing his own thing and sorting that stuff out. But yeah, like that really like
But he got it back, right?
He did get it back, but like
That's good.
even after getting it back, he's like, I don't even know what I want to do with this anymore. And I am starting to reach a point myself where I'm like, how many more beginner tutorials can I really make about painting? Like, I've been doing it for a decade. Like what's left? And then 2 weeks go by and I get like 5 more video ideas. I'm like, well, all right.
There's nothing
That's
wrong
what
with
happens.
turning the page. You have to do what your Grace Krispies tell you to do. It's very important. If you like lose the inspiration to do something, change it by all means. And it's not about numbers. It's not about, anything. Like, I've been operating, like, I had a channel that I still do have a channel that's got 100,000 subscribers. I'm proud of that number. I'm proud of what was produced there. But inspiration, man, it's about keeping it fresh. It's about, doing what feels good. I know metal detecting made me feel good. I wrote a damn musical. I can't say it's good, but I wrote a musical, a metal detecting musical. And it's very me. It's very me. And, I felt good. I felt I was on the right track doing that. These guys chose me to be their spokesperson. You keep going, you keep, the ebb and flow of life. And, you never know what opportunity comes, but it always feels best when, when you stick to what feels right.
Yeah. Truer words.
You just got to follow with that passion.
Yeah, we
follow
had
the passion, follow the process.
We had a comment in chat saying late topic focus, like it's been all over the place.
It's kind of just a conversation that's flowing through all different kinds of things. It's not really.
Yeah, we've been talking about like how the YouTube landscape has changed, especially for artists in the past decade, and mostly just catching up with each other since we all used to have more active YouTube art channels, and I'm like one of the only ones left from those days. So
I don't even know what the YouTube art landscape even is anymore because I've been out of it for so long.
Well, before we were talking about sort of like the entertainment side of things, like a lot of what Jazza does.
Yeah.
I had jotted a couple of notes down, and I was trying to think about what I see in the landscape now. And again, like the stuff that I still do, like the educational stuff, it is so far removed from what people are looking for these days. Like, if they're looking for education, like Meryl said, like, they're on TikTok, they're looking for 1 minute, 3 minute things. They're not going to sit and watch a 15-minute or longer tutorial. But I tell myself I'm there for the people that are mature enough to sit down and either just listen to me in the background or whatever. I'm not there for the look at my fancy stuff entertainment values. But so much of what I see is it's either like strictly art entertainment channels, and it's not even strictly like, and not even so much look at this cool thing I made, but it's like the spectacle things. Like, I made a drawing using every Copic marker. It's like, but why? Like that every time I see one of those
markers.
I always ask, I look at the title, I'm like, okay, but why? Just because? Like, I don't get it. And then there's ones that are like strictly reviews. So there are channels that just do product reviews. I think of not, and I don't want to hate on this guy at all because I think his channel is awesome. Is Brad Colbo. He does primarily tech stuff. So he reviews like any new art program or like tablet or stylus or something. He reviews it. And he can really kind of boil down the tech specs with it and everything. And then the other one is, and I really hate these people, just gossip, straight up gossip. Like, look at this drama that's happening on Twitter right now. And there's a guy that keeps coming up in my feed that's like, I'm so sick of all of these things happening in the TikTok art community. And it's like, I don't consider myself part of this community, and this is the most toxic stuff. And it's like, but you're not drawing, you're just like giving commentary, and this is an art channel. Like, what is going on? Like, where is the fundamental educational stuff or like even artists like really showing their work? It's like it's so few and far between to find those guys. and gals. Sucks.
Yeah, I get it.
Sucks.
Art can become dangerous if it becomes an identity. Like, I'm an artist. I do this because well, I mean, it's okay to think it's cool, but
Yeah.
when it's just like, this is what defines you, because it takes you away from the loving of a process. And I think that that's the more powerful thing. That, like, if there's anything that I've learned over the last 10, 15 years, it is just like, find a process that makes you tick, something that's important to you, something that you're inspired to do. And it's probably going to change, but just keep following that. And, I think that that is crucial, to keep creativity fresh.
Yeah. I'm curious, since I had independently interviewed both of you quite a while ago. I'm curious if this question has changed. Is advice for young artists, whether that be people who are just starting in art or people who are generally younger? I've actually noticed I've noticed more people on my channel putting comments in. They're like, "Hey, I just retired. And I'm just starting painting," and I'm like, "Cool, that's awesome." But what's that kind of advice for, like, we've been talking about process all night too. So yeah.
I think that's gonna be Meryl's biggest point is process, huh?
I was going to say joy. And this time, like, what brings you joy? You'll be prolific if you feel joy in it.
I was gonna say my only, I mean, advice for, whether you're young or old or this or that. I mean, it depends on what your goal is. What you want to. Is your goal with it to become sufficient in the income realm of it? Is your goal to just enjoy the process? You got to kind of figure out what you want it to do for yourself. And once you kind of figure that out, then that's where the journey kind of begins. And depending upon which way you go, I mean, no matter what, it's dedication. You you almost have to almost obsess about it in a way. You got to really take a big part of yourself and really dive into it. You got to eat, breathe, and sleep it. Sometimes too. I feel
that's true.
I would say I was thinking that as you were talking. I'm like, my thought is like, get obsessed, get like really into it. But then I feel like then it's almost contradictory to something Meryl was saying about don't let it be your identity, because that's, for me, that's hard too, because I've always being an artist is so much part of my identity in that sense. My pronouns are oil and acrylic. But I get what you're saying though, of not letting it consume you to the point where you lose track of reality, so to speak.
It's a fine balance, because in the YouTube realm of when I have been drawing most of my life, and I decided one day that I wanted to put it up on YouTube because I thought it was cool. And then I guess the process, Meryl's been, I think process is kind of the theme of tonight. So the process of me liking to draw led me to YouTube. Then all of a sudden, like, ooh, partnership, like, wow, I can actually start making money doing this. And then the kind of the objective, I guess, changed. Things change when different opportunities come up, and you have to recognize that. And
you turned it into a successful business.
From what I'm doing, now, absolutely.
Yes.
And the process has changed. I burnt myself out on YouTube and doing it that way. So and around the same time, I knew I loved woodworking. It's something I've also done for a long time. I did a lot of woodworking before I ever did YouTube. But I did that in school and workshop. But obviously, when you get out of high school, you can't really, if you don't have the tools, you can't really do it anymore. And so after YouTube started going by the wayside for me, I started picking up some tools and just started making some stuff, because the process changed, and I wanted to do something that I can enjoy the process again. And it inadvertently became a business, and it just, as Meryl keeps saying, the process. I enjoyed the process of doing this. And now it's a monetary thing, so it's it's weird how it just goes from one thing to another. But as long as you keep evolving with it and keep adapting and changing and going along with what you really want to do, it's a fun thing. You know, people ask me all the time, when are you going to get a real job? I'm like, the thought of getting a real job is just like, my mind explodes when I hear that.
You did great,
I
buddy.
know a lot of people do the 9 to 5, and that's wonderful. Like all props to you. The thought of someone telling me that I have to do this by this time and this by this schedule, this or that, I don't operate that way. I do things that very much I march to the beat of my own drum, and I've always been that way. And if I can't be that, I don't know what I'd be.
It's funny. I actually found there was a point where this was well over 10 years ago, but I was in between jobs and I was still living with my parents, so I hadn't had anything specific for like 2 or 3 months, and I started like logging my hours in the studio, and I found that even if I was trying to put in the time every day, I still couldn't equate the hours to anything but a part-time job. And I found through that I actually really, really rely on the 9 to 5 in order to get me to have my best creative moments, because I have all week to think about that, and then I can spend a really strong, concentrated amount of time on the weekends and make something that
Get that burst of energy out.
Yeah, that is very dedicated in that shorter burst of time. It's kind of where I can't remember if I shared either of the two, because I don't really share it on my personal Facebook. But I had my first solo exhibition in a long time last year.
You were talking to me about that.
Yeah, so I did this series of pieces where I put down a big splatter of like house paint on a piece of wood, and then painted just within the borders of that splatter. And the whole thing started, and it didn't start as an artistic thought. It started as I chewed the crap out of an old can of paint, and I couldn't get it back on. So I'm like, well, I got to do something with this now. And there happened to be this wood panel in the corner, because I have tons of supports sitting around. And I'm like, what if I just kind of go in the middle of that, and then paint on that? And
I always hated Jackson Pollock, but he's right.
Well,
there's been a lot of iterations of Jackson Pollock these days.
Yeah, like Pollock's work was so much more meditative though too. My stuff was so much even those processes were so much more meticulous. Let me go grab one of those pieces. I think I've got a couple of smaller ones hanging up here.
Go for it.
I don't even think when I'm on the beach. Like I just go out and I'm semi-conscious aware of the beeps that happen. I dig a hole, and it's a beautiful thing. And Duchamp took some time. He did chess. I don't know. I'm pretty happy.
That's good.
That's
awesome.
I say you're digging a hole, son. So this
digging. I'm digging.
You're still on holes.
Yes, sir.
This I did sort of late in the process of all of them. That's when I really started pushing things, because I did the whole background before the splatter is oil paint. So I did that all with knife work, which took like 6 months to dry, because it was so thick, and oil on wood, it basically doesn't dry forever. And then I did this, and then on top of this is actually one of the more nuanced ones. So I put down some extra acrylic pastel ground on it, and so it's watercolor, and then colored pencil overlay with that. So that was
very
fun.
nice.
That's a really cool look.
Yeah. So at this point now, I found out so late that it looked really good with a white splatter on a dark backdrop. And it took
contrast, man. Yep.
Yeah, and then the real big one, which I don't have here, it's at the gallery. It's 2 by 3 feet. Even if I were to hold it up, it wouldn't fit in frame. But that one I had done. I left the wood more. I think I just stained the wood like a with like I think it was a red oxide oil paint, and then the splatter was a light blue, and I used the base of the light blue as the sky color and built everything around that, and that was so much fun. And so now, like every now and then, so now, like just going through that whole process and doing a bunch of those pieces for the year, I've just like added that into my repertoire of things. So it's like I will do one of those pieces every now and then, but it's not like part of what was that original series.
It's fun stumbling across a new process. I mean, that's what I have this right here because I just made 9 of these. That's what this was for me because I've done woodworking forever. I saw a guy. I call these wooden beer mugs, by the way, and I saw a guy making the wooden like beer steins, and I'm like, that's cool. But what if you put, metal strapping on it? Rebar handle, like how cool would that be? I had to learn how to weld in order to do these things, and that was a fun process. So now I have welding equipment in my workshop, and so it's just another process to make stuff.
You see how that started with wonder, though?
Mm-hmm.
That's the driving force right there.
Yep. That's the fun of it is when you find something different that you can do. And then it's the process of learning how to do something different, incorporating it into what you already know, and just expanding upon your knowledge and playing with some new material. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really is.
And like that's why I love wandering around the arts festival too. It's just like I look at what other artists are doing, and it's like I've never seen anybody do that, but I want to try it. And there was one of those. I ran into this artist. We now follow each other on Instagram. But she's doing these portraits, and like the top of the people's heads are like turning into cities and buildings, which is pretty wild in and of itself. But the one piece that I saw from her, the backdrop of the character was metallic copper paint. So the whole piece at like, especially kind of like coming down the arts festival in sunlight, you immediately get that reflectivity. It's like, ooh, what is that?
Yep.
And the second, I think it was the next day. I went to Blix and I was like, I'm gonna get some copper paint. I'm gonna get some metallics, and I want to try this. And I haven't done much with them since, other than apply the metallic paint to a couple of wood panels, and then set them in the studio and forgot about them. But I still look at them all the time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do on it yet, but that's a start of something.
Yep.
It just inspires you to like, I want to try that.
Going back to what you said earlier, like what would you say to someone who is starting out, or that question? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how Ben and I we meet up every now and then. As I attend fine art and craft shows, that's where I go to sell these things. At those shows, it's amazing what people create. Anything from woodworking to painting to glass jewelry, metal smithing, leather, it's all there, and everyone's doing it differently. So no matter what your craft is, by going to those events, you will see someone who is more than likely very successful in doing it, and how they're doing it. It's amazing. It's a wonderful thing just to see all of these things. And that's definitely another big piece of advice I would have for people. Just if you live near a big city, or if you're within an hour of any of these shows that happen, and they happen almost every weekend all over the country, go to them and just look at what these people are doing. It's amazing. It really is.
Merrill looks tired. Are we keeping you up, old man?
I'm an old man.
I've been up since 5.
Oh man.
Me too.
I don't know what it is, but these
standards.
past 2 weeks I have not been able to sleep past 6. I was in this workshop at 3:45 the other day.
I know what it is.
I normally sleep till like 9 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden I can't. I've been trying. It doesn't work anymore. I don't know what happened.
I'm honored to be here with you, before such a big day.
Yeah.
Your life's about to change for the positive.
Yep. So for those who don't know, I'm pretty much within done 40, 48, 70 hours from becoming a dad. Like we're going in tomorrow, and we're going through the process. So
I hope I
yeah.
didn't put you on the spot there. I don't know if you.
No, that's fine, and it's not a problem at all. I mean, it's yeah. So I have a wife upstairs, very, 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 very pregnant, and she's
I have a
been
pregnant wife
amazing.
upstairs. I'm ignoring her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been great. She's been a trooper. Yeah. So then, and it's definitely been taking a toll on her. She's officially doing the penguin walk right now.
Yeah.
So it's time. It's definitely that time. So
we've had so
we
many.
Get the phone call at some point tomorrow, and they'll let us know when we're going in.
We've had someone in chat. They said, "Me too, 5 a.m." So it must be the 5 a.m. club. I wanted.
I tell you what, though, I'm not. There's only certain times of the year where I'm up at like. When I'm up early, I say like 7 a.m. To being up this early, I get a lot done. It's actually quite nice.
I agree. That's
on the
when you
right,
get your energy.
On the right days,
Yeah.
again, like usually me Saturday morning, it was a little different because I was looking forward to this all day, so I couldn't focus on my work. But it's like I get up, I pour myself some orange juice, I immediately get in the studio and I work till like 11 or noon or whatever. Like whatever time I got up, I'll just work for like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I wake up, I come down here, I start up my I have a couple lasers in here that make a lot of different things and help me in the process, and so I turn them on, they start running, they start making stuff, and then a couple hours go by, I'll go up and make breakfast.
Yeah, our guy in
I already have
also had asked
a couple hours in.
Had asked wood turning or carving.
I don't really do carving too much. I do a lot of wood turning. I do a lot of everything. Table saw work, planers, bandsaws, but yeah, you probably see right here, there's one of my lathes. There is another one that I have. It's a much bigger one. You can't see it in the frame, but I have two of them.
Want to do another camera pan of the workshop? You did it for us before we started streaming, but since you're there,
so I went from doing drawing to this. So it's just a full-on workshop of all kinds of crap in it.
That's awesome.
It's my happy place.
That's great.
Where awesome things are made.
I'm going to add that to even though it was my question to you guys, because I have this series called How to Be an Artist, and one of the episodes of that was curating a space that is inspiring for you to create, and being able to have a dedicated space.
You got to keep that place in a state where it is inviting. So for me, right now, for some people might have just looked at that and be like, boy, that guy's shop is a wreck. It's actually pretty organized from what it usually is. So,
and
but you got to keep it in a state that you're comfortable with.
Yeah,
I think you're doing two things that are very important. One, you're going to events. I think it's important to have that community. When you're an artist, and just to bounce ideas off of people, to see new things. And you have your studio. You're working every day, and you're doing something that you're inspired to do. I really think it could be that simple.
Yeah. And these people that I've met over the years doing these shows have become so close. Some of them came to our wedding, and they've become extended part of our family. And anytime I do a show that's near them, we'll stay at their house, me and my wife, and we'll cook on the barbecue. We'll just have a great time, talk whatever. We talk business, talk shows, talk life, talk religion, talk whatever. And it's amazing how close you get with. That's the one thing. I don't know if it's the same way with a lot of other fields, because I'm not in a lot of other fields, but in the art field, we're all quirky people, and we all have that in common. And we all have our craft and our mediums that we do, and we all bond over it. And there's something about it that just gets you really close to certain people. and you're always just chit chatting, calling each other up, hey, how's it going, this and that. So it's an awesome field to be in. It's a tough field to be in if you want to do it professionally, but it's worth it. It definitely is. I mean, I work my butt off. I'm in here sometimes 16 hours a day, 7 days straight, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I really wouldn't.
That's great.
I'd say that's a testament to Merrill. You have a way of fostering communities, and I think especially with fostering communities in the arts, the fact that 12, 13 years later of what you started, that the three of us are still talking to each other is
Thanks, buddy.
saying something.
Yep.
It's great to reconnect.
For sure, man.
Yep. I know I've met Thad in person, I've met Ben in person.
That was wild a couple
yet.
years ago. Like the fact that
We gotta fix that.
Finally got
we gotta fix that.
Yeah.
Let's fix that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of these days. Well, hey, whenever you get over here to Metal Detect, let me know.
I would love that for sure.
Have you ever detected the Jersey Shore?
Atlantic City once. That's it. And I have people that are like, Merrill, when are you coming over? I guess I get elusive a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Here we have the elusive Merrill Kazanjian.
The elusive Merrill. Yeah.
Get David Attenborough to yeah. Well, that'd be great.
Okay, we need to be very quiet because here we can see the wild Kazanjian. He is in his natural habitat.
You might hear a faint beep beep sound.
He has headphones on and he's hearing for a slight beep. We can approach, but make sure not to do so from the back. Otherwise, he might get scared and kick you in the face.
I would not.
He is wielding a metal detector. Let's see how far I can go with this. He's wielding this metal detector, which might look like nothing from a distance, but it can be used to hit zombies very hard in the face, as it is a blunt object. When the ongoing apocalypse finally reaches us, he is already armed to the teeth.
It's so funny
with a scroll with a jetpack.
With the scroll with the jetpack. It's so funny that you say the zombie thing, because I go to the events, and it's so funny when you see like 100 or 200 metal detectorists out in the same field, and they're swinging, and there's just something so apocalyptic about it. It's just crazy. It's like the dorkiest
they are
thing you could ever
searching for
imagine,
cans
and
of
it's
beans.
but it's beautiful. The people who the process, the people who love the process. It's it's sanity.
I remember one time at Seaside Heights, they were repairing part of the boardwalk, and they took up a pretty big section. And oh my god, it was like white on rice. These metal detectors came out of the woodwork everywhere. There was 50 of them that just jumped in that pit and just started going ham in that thing. Because who knows how long it's been since that sand has been looked through. And
you're looking for low sand. That's exactly what you're looking for. So if you get erosion, you jump right in there.
Stuff
moves.
So they were repairing that boardwalk, and boy, people wanted to get in there to see, because that's people dropping the change in that stretch of sand for 50 years, but however many years.
I was gonna say, if you go to the Outer Banks now, a couple of houses just fell in. You'll be able to find everything.
Yeah.
I found a hot water tank.
Feel bad for
Corvette.
people. That's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. Yeah. My dad lives in Florida, but he lives on the other side of the state. I checked in with him the other day, and he's like, "Oh, we had a little bit of rain and some wind. Oh, we're fine." So he's good, but I know a lot of people are not. So my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember when Hurricane Sandy hit New Jersey way back when, and I'm like, "Hey
lost
Tyler,
power
you
for
okay?"
almost 2 weeks for that one. That was a rough one, See, I'm a Jersey boy through and through, and I've been just about everywhere in this state, and this state has never been the same since that storm. I mean, the Garden State Parkway is completely different now, at least down in this area. Seaside Heights, and then we lost the iconic what's the name of that pier? The main pier, and then the Funtown Pier. That one burned a couple years after, or a year after that. So I mean, Seaside Heights is just not what it used to be, and it's just changing.
Yeah.
So sad.
I live in a community now. Well, I'm on the hill about a mile north of the little town area, but it just came up that it was, I think, 14 years ago or something, that it was Hurricane Ivan, and it was the one that came up through the Gulf. Dumped tons of rain all over like the Ohio Valley, and everybody went back to the Atlantic, went down, became a hurricane, and hit Florida a second time.
Wow.
But it's one of those ones that I think it was 2004 or something like that. There have been things in the news lately about that, and like that was the worst flooding that had been in Pittsburgh since like the 1920s. Like it was
Wow.
really, really wild. And it's funny now too, like multiple times a week or whatever that I'm coming through these streets, that I'm like, I was in high school volunteering, and I'm pretty sure I was in that house's basement scrubbing mud off of their floors.
Wow.
And it's just so surreal now, because this little spot where I'm at is neighborhood, I guess you could say, because that's Pittsburgh's made up of all the little neighborhoods. But it floods so often that it's like the businesses that have been there for a really long time, like the bakery with the macarons that I gave you, like that guy's been here for like 40 years, and it's like anytime it floods, like, yeah, it floods out, he scrapes everything clean and just starts over again.
I had those macaroons on the table, through the duration of that show, and so many people are like, "Those are the best,"
Yeah,
and they were very good.
He actually closes up shop for like most of the summer every year, and just goes to France to visit his family. But
That's awesome.
It's one of those things where it's like, so I had gotten those for you. It was like 6 days before he closed for the summer.
It's a good thing he's open. That's a busy weekend for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure, and even just like passersby and everything too. Like he gets so much business.
There's a lot of good food in that city. I've eaten at quite a few places over there, and I always look forward to what else is there to check out. I mean, there's so many restaurants right in that little area.
Yep.
Where I'm at, between the Wyndham Grand to where the Sister Bridges are. There's dozens and dozens of restaurants to eat at.
Everything downtown, you can just hit a different one every night, pretty much.
Yeah, everything's walking distance. It's great.
Yeah, like for the downtown stuff, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like you drive to whatever neighborhood you're in, and then you can just walk that neighborhood.
Yep. I like that city. I definitely look forward to God willing that I keep getting in that event. I always look forward to going to that city. It's fun.
Yeah, that's like as long as you like get your booth paid for and reserved, like whatever, like that, like 8 months in advance that you need to do it for. But,
yep. That's the other thing about doing this. You got to book your events almost a year out. It's wild.
I've had so many people that are like, why aren't you doing the Three Rivers Arts Festival? They're like, you would sell out. I'm like, yeah, I probably would.
Yeah. Dude, it's not that expensive.
It's a matter for me. It's a matter of the mental energy of it. Like when
it's a marathon.
I was doing like little pop-up shows and stuff before the gallery I'm in was the gallery I'm in. It was just like an event thing.
Yep.
And it had a bunch of pop-up shows, and I was doing it would have been 2015, I think, is when I started doing a bunch of stuff with them. And I was doing something like every 5 weeks on like a Saturday night, like boom, 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 all year long for like 2 years. And I got to the point where I'm like, I'm putting in a 6-8 hour night, and I was getting sales at first, and I'm like, I'm doing this and I'm making 20, $40. And I'm like, this isn't worth my time anymore, and it's not worth my mental energy. And a lot of these were events like there's like artist tables set up, but mostly people are there. It's like it's at a bar and there's a band, so people are coming for the band, and the art's sort of an afterthought. So it's like, and if you wanted to, there were a lot of times where if you wanted to make any money, you had to stay there till the final, like to last call basically. And when everyone's cleaning up, the remaining people are there. The people who were shit-faced drunk are the ones that are then making poor financial decisions and buying prints. That's what it ended up being. And it's like, but I don't want to be here till 1 a.m. You know, like by the time I was like nearly 30, I was like, you know, 28, 29, 30. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. I'm like, I want to go home and go to sleep. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. I get it. It was some of these events, they can be a grind, and Three Rivers is definitely one of them.
It was nice to now to have like the gallery space, and because that's open multiple days a week, so I can just go, like I can just drop stuff off every 6 months. I'm like, here, display it. I have prints there, and if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then I just continue to make stuff and drop stuff off and just rotate.
Yep.
Guys, listen.
I think you should try it one year, though.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm so happy to reconnect, and I want to do this again. I promised by 9 I would be done. I got some other stuff to do, but I want to do this again.
It's a pleasure having you. Before you go, would you like to plug anything? Channels, stuff like that. You want to shout out of things that you do that want to like by name specifically? I
want everybody to subscribe to Ben's channel because he's been working hard, and it's inspiring that you're still passionate about this and making it continuing to do this. And I think you're the only one that's still doing this on YouTube. I want you to get
the crew from back then maybe.
So that's my plug.
Other people, other better artists have come along and blown me out of the water in subscribers, but I'm still happy with my humble little space here for the people that watch.
There you go.
That's what it's all about, right there. That's what it is.
Let's do this again. I had a great time. I really Ben, I know we interviewed like 2 years ago. Tyler, it's been a minute, man. So good to see you.
Yeah, I know. It's good to see you too.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
No,
it's been a while.
Part of my life. We worked together for a few years, so
Yeah, and it's been 10 years. We've all gotten older and wiser and onto bigger and better things.
I'm preserved in salt water.
Yes, as it was. He's been brined.
So that's where you're going after this? You're going to go to your cryo chamber of brine?
Nightly brine bath.
You'll know very soon, kids. I promised we'd watch a movie at 9. So.
All right.
Yep. It's Saturday night, so that's movie night.
Yep.
For sure. Great talking with you. Thanks for hanging with us.
No, I love it, guys. All right. Great talking to you guys.
Take it easy.
See ya. Well, you got the big.
And then there were two.
You got the big screen. It went to.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
You're on the big screen for me, so I guess it's the way things are on the interwebs here. Yeah. I know I probably got another few minutes in me. Any comments out there? I mean, that we can cover for a few minutes before I want to take off here.
Say the one. I guess the one guy that was asking about your style of woodworking wasn't subscribed and found us tonight, so it was like done, subscribe.
Cool.
Yeah, always happy to have more to the party, so to speak. Also, that guy said he's a closet artist.
Nothing wrong with that. My style of woodworking, it's kind of I don't know do I have a style? I don't know. I make what I think is cool. That's I guess what I would say my style is. Like, one of the things I make is wooden beer mugs.
I wanted to ask,
and I have 7-foot charcuterie boards that I make. I do, magnetic bottle openers, and I engrave a lot of stuff on cork and other stuff too. And my woodworking has evolved so much over the years. I've made everything from segmented bowls with, anywhere from 100 to a few thousand pieces in them. I've made furniture. I've made china cabinets. I've built an island up in my kitchen upstairs. I've done it all. I've done pretty much everything. Everything that I thought would be like, I wonder how cool that would be to do. I've done it.
Have you ever had somebody try to commission you for something insane that was like so far out of your wheelhouse, where you're like, that's too far out of my league or something?
A lot of the times when someone wants something like that, I honestly turn it down because I know what I want it to be is very different what they want it to be. And when it comes to big stuff like that, if I don't have the passion behind it, I just don't want to put someone through commissioning me for it because I just don't think it'll come out the way that they would want it to be. And I don't know, I can't. I have a hard time with commissions. I honestly do, because if I'm not passionate about what your vision is, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I take
I don't
very,
know if that.
I take very few on myself for exactly that reason.
Yeah, if I'm not excited about it, I just don't care about it. And I don't mean to say that in a way that is insulting to anyone. I try to be as respectful as I can. And I'm just like, listen, if my heart's not in it, I can't do it. And
Yeah.
I've turned down a lot of stuff.
I've there's this guy that I worked with. He actually just retired a couple of weeks ago, and this isn't a commission, but it's more one of those things like he found out I was an artist, and he just kind of gave me something to do. It wasn't like, and I told him, I'm like, well, you're not paying me for this, so there's like no chance in hell I'm gonna get to this in any kind of timely fashion. And he's like, oh no, that's fine. I don't have time. So the guy, his hobby is he builds like carves muzzle loaders and like old rifles. He has a passion for like the frontiersman lifestyle of like the late 1700s and stuff like that.
That's awesome. I respect it.
He was talking to me about powder horns. So like big like buffalo horns and stuff like that, and they'd hollow them out, or if they were hollow, I'm not really sure how that works. And use like especially real big ones, they would use for black powder and like put a cap on it and carry it with them, for stuff like that. And one thing people would do is they would carve them. So there's this technique called scrimshaw, which is where they take just like a needle tool and scratch into it and then wipe it with ink. So he gave me a couple of sort of the smaller horns that he has. And he's like, here, I think you might find this fun. And he gave me sort of like a real tiny one to kind of practice on, and it's bone, and I kind of did like a little test, and you can just use like a needle tool and scratch, and it's super. It's like soapstone. It's super giving. So I have an idea, and he wants it to seem sort of period, which is what's keeping me back from working on it. So I want to hit the local history center because they actually have a handful of them. And he gave me a book, and I can look him up, but like I want to see him in person. I want to talk to a historian that knows about him more, so I can better and more accurately do the project. And I have an idea. I have an idea of doing because like it doesn't have to look great. Most of them didn't. So it was very sort of folk arty in that sense, where it was just kind of whatever they wanted to do. I want to do a map. I want to replicate a map of, and I would love to replicate a map of this area from that time period, which was sort of my thought to it.
There's this, I don't know if it helps you at all, but there's this website called Snazzy Maps. I use it myself.
Okay.
And you can pull up maps. It's basically Google Maps, Google Earth, and you can make it all different. You can make it look all different kinds of ways. Okay. And one of the things that I do
is that
you probably
the
saw
corkboard things, the cork hot plates.
Yeah. So I engraved a map of Pittsburgh on a cork hot plate, and people loved it. So I didn't know if that would help you in terms of like if you needed like a template.
I will. Yeah. Well, the website looks awesome as it is. I will give it a look for that. That could be really, really helpful.
Because you can make it as simple as you need, where it just shows you the rivers, the roads, the land, and you can build contrast on it, depending on what colors you want to turn on and off. And just select the area that you want, print it, kind of I don't know if you wrap it around what you're working on
It's
and just
probably gonna be like a carbon transfer or something is likely how I'm gonna end up
there you
doing it.
go. Because I know it's important when you're doing something with a map, you want it to freehanding a map is tough as
Yeah,
hell.
no. That there's a few things where he wants like some like date, like Roman numeral lettering and stuff, and I'm gonna have to do like a whole thing for that too.
Yeah.
With the I don't want to say grid work, but like the formatting lines to make sure it's in line and level all the way around it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can go back in history and because I know maps today are very different than what they used to be.
Right.
Um,
Well, that's what I'm hoping with the
but
History Center. Before I go, I want to email them and connect with someone in their staff to help me out with it. My other fun idea with it is because we're talking because it's going to be sort of a faux period piece. I actually have some traditional Iron Gull ink, which I'll probably use as the fill in, just for that extra layer
cool.
of it.
Yeah. And I'm sure you could even find a period map too and just print that off.
Right, or even
there's
a copy.
Many different, and that's the really fun thing about trying to figure out something new. And if you have a familiarity with kind of what you're doing, what you want it to be, there's so many different ways you can go about it.
Uh-huh.
And you can kind of envision almost off, I mean, for certain things, not everything, but you can kind of envision, okay, what's the best way to go about this? And you're going to know, I feel like you're going to have at least a good idea of how to go about it.
When all these pieces finally actually fall into place, it's going to be like, I know exactly how to do it and I know exactly what I want to do. But at this point now, it's like I'm sitting on it because it's like if I touch it too soon, I either won't be happy with it or it'll look terrible. Like it won't be right. And because this is like a passion project for this guy, it's like I don't want to screw that up.
Yeah.
Even though he's not
I think
paying
this is
me,
probably the most.
It's one of those ones where it's like if I don't do this right, it's no.
Yeah. I think it's probably the most fun thing about being an artist is figuring out the process of how to do something different.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. And then once you kind of figure it out, you can master it per se or perfect it per se. And you go, okay, did it, done it, awesome, it was fun. And then depending upon how you feel about it, you either keep doing it or you move on. But no matter what, you have that knowledge in your arsenal for the next project. And you just keep building and building and building. It's amazing what people can do.
I was messing with it's funny too because it's one of the things where it's like you say something like don't mix oil and acrylic or don't like there's hard rules to art, but it's one of those things. I have a mindset of why not? Let's do it. Let's do it.
Have you done it?
Sort of. So I came up with this thing. I started messing with these the RNF pigment sticks, which is it's like oil and beeswax, and as you rub it, it loosens up and becomes paint. So I would do a sort of a base of that and let it dry, and then coat it in a thick layer of acrylic gel so there was a barrier. Oh wait, no, did I? No, I didn't do that. I would just clear coat it. Because it needed to have some level of resistance still from the oil. And then over top of that, I'd selectively put down black acrylic paint. And then a couple of years ago, I discovered that you can actually remove acrylic paint with rubbing alcohol on any surface. And so I took like a Q-tip or a brush or something and removed the black acrylic, revealing the underlying color from the oil. So it's kind of like doing a scratch board. But just with wet media. It's not.
That's pretty neat.
It's not perfect, but every now and then I'll mess with it a little bit more and tweak it and try to find a better way of doing it. And then of course, even with the subtraction, I can then come back on and add addition, subtraction a little bit more with it. I interviewed a friend of mine who's a tattoo artist a number of years ago, and I wanted to bring this up earlier when we were still talking about it with Merrill, but he said something like, if you're gonna like sort of be like in a community and on a team with other artists, you have to be bringing your shit to the table. It's like you can't go in it half-assed. It's like if you're gonna go in with the pros, step your game up.
Yeah.
And that's always sort of the challenge for me and that's kind of where I was with the splatter pieces and everything. It was, I reached a point where I'm like, I have to do something. I've kind of been stagnating, and like if I don't do something, if I don't push myself harder as a creative, I'm gonna just fall into this rhythm of doing the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm
that's
friends...
what the that's what the art shows do for me. I mean, all these people that I've met over the years and seeing what they're doing and they're evolving and they're changing, it constantly keeps that thought in your mind of what can you do to do better and what can you do to change and to adapt, evolve. It's that mindset, that thought is on my mind a lot, and it's good to keep that on your mind, because stagnation's annoying. And it's so prevalent. It happens so often, and it's like, okay, what's the next big thing? What's the new thing? Like, it's finding new things is fun. It really is.
Like, that's the thing. Like when I was saying early on about just finding new materials and things I haven't seen before. Like that's what it is. It's the challenge of pushing yourself further. I won't mention this artist by name, but they had been in the sort of the circle of the hangouts and everything like that. And I checked up on their work recently, and it's literally exactly the same as it was 10 years ago. And I was like, oh man, what happened? Like what happened that you like stopped growing? And it really struck me, and it's when I saw their work, I'm like, I have to make sure I don't fall into this, of falling into what's comfortable to the point where you just stagnate and your skills stop improving.
I know for everyone it's different what their goals and ambitions are, but I mean, I personally, I agree with you that you should always strive to improve, do better, do more. And I know for a lot of people it's easy to fall into just staying the same, doing the same thing. And it's not necessarily there's anything particularly wrong with that, but I mean, if your goal is to constantly improve, then you're definitely not achieving that. And it's a struggle. It really is. I know, even I'm thinking like internally with myself, like I know there are times that I feel like I stagnate in this and that, and then I'm like, all right, well, it could be something as simple as just making a different, like, if I I do a lot of different ornaments that I'll make for the holiday time. I've had some of my designs, I've had them for so many years, and this year I made like 6 new designs, and I'm over the moon about it. Like I'm just like, this is great. Like, and it's something so simple, like something like that. Yeah. It just gets you excited again.
Yeah. It's
just,
I mean,
and then
there's something to be said about having
going.
Yeah, something to be said about having, like, keeping the ones that sell. Like if they're popular and they're still making you money, like, don't get rid of them. But at the same time,
of course,
you gotta bring some new things into the mix.
Because that's the trap, especially with what I do. I can make the same thing for the next 10 years, and I can still make money at it, and I can still make decent money doing what I do. But if I find something else that is even more fun, and it just happens to make even more money, then you just hit the jackpot. Like, and that's what it kind of comes down to. Is it's a balance of keeping it fun, keeping it interesting, but and my particular interest, I make money. This is my livelihood. I make money for the both of us to live off of, and you got to find that balance of having fun with it, but also being successful with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to innovate, but I guess in my thing, you got to innovate. You can't go a complete 180 and completely change everything you do. You got to move slowly,
right?
Because you don't want to completely go in a direction and just all of a sudden you're completely obscure and no one wants what you sell and you make no money, because boy, that's a tough pill to swallow. But it's slow changes. It's and then that leads to making cool stuff like this, a beer mug. Why not? People love it.
I will say the fun thing with expanding out is a friend of mine got me hooked on Twitch streaming a couple of years back, and not that I'm in any capacity popular there, but it's one of those things where it's like I started doing it because I just love to play, and for me it was a way to one go through a back catalog of games that I've been wanting to play, but it's like I'll get to them eventually kind of stuff. And so now it's like it's every Tuesday, and I'll sit down, but it's like that's I only play that game on that day. So it's like there are things where it's like, okay, let's see if I remember how to do this from last week, because I've been doing other stuff, and I like very recently. So the new Zelda dropped Thursday, and so like that one is just for me. Like when it came in, I'm like, I'm not streaming this under any circumstances. Like, even though it's something I've never played before and it's brand new, but it's like, this is for me. This is for my enjoyment. You want to enjoy it, of what I'm doing, and they're like things like that, like finding the art project that you're not going to share, or you're not going to monetize. Like, this one is for me. Well, it's sort of half the thing. I've been thinking about Samus behind me. That one, I have a rule: I don't sell fan art, because it's a very legal gray area. People do make money at it. There are ways of doing it, but like that piece was very much one of those things where it's like, I'd be okay selling it, but that whole piece was like, that was just for me. And it's also in charcoal, which is a medium I almost never work in. So
I was in charcoal for a long time. It's fun.
This was my challenge to myself, like that day, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not touched anything with charcoal since I did that like 2 years ago. But I've got a plan for one for next month.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's another really important thing, is that if you're in the arts to make money, you have to do projects for yourself. And that's a thing that a lot of people, I feel like it's a trap that you can get stuck in just making stuff for the money. If you don't make stuff for yourself, like, and I fall in the trap myself, but every once in a while I find something that I want to do, and I make, like, you know, I made my kitchen island upstairs, and you know, that's completely functional. But I made this chandelier above it that is completely wild and nutty, and that was just a pure passion thing for me. I just wanted to make a really cool industrial looking chandelier. So I took a really cool piece of walnut and I screwed it to the ceiling, and then from that I have a couple eye hooks hanging down with some chains that come down, and there's two really big industrial pulleys that are suspended from these chains, and then from that I have another big beam.
I'm just
Go ahead.
Noticing the screen. This is my sick mind of you going like this and like this, and I'm like, wait a minute.
A little too suggestive there.
Suggestive lamping.
Yeah. But so these two big pulleys, and then below that I have a big beam going across, and then below that beam I have some hanging pendant lights with some Edison bulbs in them and whatnot. It's awesome looking. It's really cool, and I'm really proud of it. So stuff like that. I mean, that's when you're in the arts to make money. You got to do stuff like that every now and then. Just do something, just for why not? Or, you know, I always like to say, for shits and giggles.
Yep.
And
then every now and then it might become something.
Yeah. Just for the fun of it, just to try something different, something new. And you know, when I was making it, I mean, you kind of have to put on a couple different hats. Okay, so I have my woodworking hat where I build the beam and this and that. I put my metalworking hat where I have to weld some pieces together. Put my electrician hat on because I got to do some wiring now. Like, it's all stuff that I know a little bit about, just enough to not electrocute myself, thankfully. Done it a few times. It's not that fun. Maybe that's why I
almost did.
You know.
I actually almost
anyway,
did the other week. I was messing with a bathroom light, and I hadn't turned the power off the way I should have, but I'm like, I'm just taking the thing off. It's fine. And then it's an old it's an old 50s fixture. So I was like, well, I'm gonna just put this back, and I just kind of hung it on the hook brace that it was on, and all of a sudden it was like,
Yep.
and I tripped the breaker, and I'm like, I almost just electrocuted myself just now.
Yeah.
Let me go turn
I
that
mean,
off.
you know, I'm not gonna say this as a thing, you know, so that people stick a fork in the socket, but for the most part, 110 volt won't really do anything to you. You'll know you hit it for sure if you touch it.
It'll be like a whoa.
But it's definitely not enough to kill you, so which is good because I've touched it and I'm still alive, so it at least won't kill me.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a fun note. I think we can wrap stuff up on.
Electrocution, you know, good times.
Electrifying.
There you go. Put a pun counter on there.
Since Merrill didn't want to plug his stuff, I'll let you plug your stuff. I know you probably want to.
I mean, if people want to follow me, the only social media that I really post on these days, because I'm really not into social, I'm kind of burnt out on it, to be honest, is Instagram. Trees to Dreams is my business name, so it's trees, 2TO, and then dreams, and you can find me on Instagram, and then from there you'll find my website and whatnot, and I attend fine art and craft shows I'm based in Jersey, and I'll go as far north as, Massachusetts, as far south as Virginia, and occasionally down to Florida, and as far west as, Pittsburgh area, sometimes Ohio. So if you're in any of those areas and you want to come out and see what I do and see what other artists are doing, feel free to reach out, and I'll let you know when I'm going to be in your area, if I'm going to be in there anytime soon. And let's meet up and say hello. And if you want something of mine, I'd be more than happy to hook you up. And it's all about community with what we do as artists at these shows. And it's a community of people, and we're always it's a wonderful thing. But that's what I do. I sit in my I don't sit in my workshop. I stand in my workshop. I make things all day long, and it's a fun thing. So it's a speed that that's good for me right now. Just I'm very much of a I don't want to say a solitary person, but I like my time. I like spending a lot of time in the workshop, and then on the weekends when I do these events, oh my God, I'm a chatterbug. I really am.
You have to be to be a salesman.
I always tell people it's a weird way to make a living, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I really wouldn't.
I just remembered I did have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Since moving to the craft shows and the woodworking stuff, has anyone ever come up to you that had recognized you from your old art channel? Did you ever make that connection with anybody?
No, I have not. Well, also the other thing too is back then, I mean, I my hair was a lot longer. Now I don't have much of it left. So it may just be a factor that people just simply don't recognize me. But no, I haven't. I don't think so. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years, and there may have been a time that someone came up and said something to me, but I don't remember if it did, but I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, it would have been cool if it did.
Yeah, worth a shot. I thought about it like twice, like an hour ago, and I'm like, oh, and I just forgot about it until now.
Yeah, no one's ever recognized me from the art days. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, if it happens, I don't remember, but I don't think it did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that's happened that I don't remember anymore.
All right, well, go ahead and wrap this live one up. This has been a blast talking with you and Merrill.
This has been awesome.
We'll have to really bug Thad to jump back in with us next time around.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, it would be awesome to get. I don't know if we can get Cycra involved. I don't know if Cartoon Block still does stuff. Even people who weren't necessarily in the YouTube art news and just OG, YouTube art people. Orange Monkey.
Yeah.
Roundbrush Steve, let's get him on here, right?
I'll
Maybe we can ask him if he's behind Carol Mazanjian. Get to the bottom of this.
Once and for all, we're gonna find out.
Yep.
Of course, if we bring that up, we might end up having like blocking studio Cinders or something like that showing up.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. This was a lot of fun, and I'm definitely down to do more of these. I mean, I'm gonna be a dad at any moment, so time's gonna be a little shorter. But I'm sure even if you do it, and I pop in for 20 minutes, I'd be a blast. I'd still do that at the very least.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so for the sake of the live, thanks guys for watching, and this has Ben reminding you to keep on creating. Subscribe for more, like all that stuff. I think anyone who was watching probably did that already. Socials for me are in the description box below. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next.